You scroll, you like, you share. You think you're just living your life online, right? But what if every single click, every location ping, every private message isn't just data? What if it's you, your entire digital life, harvested, repackaged, and fed into something you can't even see? Individuals rarely get a say in how their data is harvested and repurposed, which creates an imbalance of power without your knowledge or consent. They're training powerful AI models like chatbots on your social media posts, personal blogs, and even private data leaked online. Companies building AI-powered tech are scraping your posts and personal data and using them to train those systems by default. Your intellectual property, your books, your art. Authors have sued, alleging their novels were unlawfully used as training data, claiming AI profits from stolen writing and ideas. The question isn't theoretical. Do individuals have rights over how their publicly posted data is used to train AI? And these algorithms? They're making life-altering decisions about you, your job application, your credit score, even your criminal risk assessment. But what if the data feeding that AI is biased? What if it's twice as likely to falsely label black defendants as high risk compared to white defendants? What if facial recognition misidentifies you because of your skin color, leading to wrongful arrests? A study found error rates up to 100 times higher for black and Asian faces. As one commentator warned, biased algorithms mean existing inequalities could be amplified with dangerous results. Now imagine this: what you see, what you hear, isn't real. We now have AI tools that can fabricate realistic images, videos, or audio of people, making it appear that someone said or did something they never did. Deepfakes have the potential to erode trust in media, institutions, and even interpersonal relationships. Fake news videos of public figures, scams where AI impersonates your loved ones to demand money. The very notion of truth in digital content is put at risk. This isn't theoretical. If you are a human, you should care about AI bias causing real-world harm. This isn't science fiction. This is happening now. It's shaping your reality. And if you're not aware, if you don't understand how these black box models operate, you're not just a user. You're vulnerable. Are you ready to lose control? Don't be left in the dark. Don't let unchecked AI redefine your world. The full story, the hidden truths, the ethical compass you need to navigate this new frontier. Listen to the full podcast now.
Welcome to the deep dive. Just pause for a second and think about data science. It's everywhere, isn't it? Woven right into our daily lives.
Absolutely.
And I'm not just talking personalized ads, though. Yeah, they're definitely there. This goes way deeper. Think personalized medicine, right? Tailoring treatments based on your specific genes.
Or algorithms deciding if you get that loan.
Exactly. Or even shaping how justice is administered. These systems, they're not just giving us suggestions anymore. They're actually making decisions.
And often as these kind of opaque black box algorithms.
Which means what, exactly, for someone who hasn't heard that term?
Well, it means their internal workings are so complex, sometimes even the people who built them struggle to explain precisely why they reached a certain conclusion. It's not straightforward.
So that brings us to the really big question, the burning question, I guess.
Yeah.
What happens when these super powerful, often invisible systems mess up? Especially in really critical areas, healthcare, finance, the justice system, places where the stakes are, well, life-altering.
And who's responsible? Who carries the can when it goes wrong?
Precisely. So our mission today, using a whole stack of insightful sources, is to really pull back the curtain on this. Data ethics and the huge responsibilities that fall on data scientists.
It's so important.
Yeah, this isn't just academic talk. It's about the future we're literally coding into existence right now. Okay, let's unpack this.
It's definitely an essential conversation to be having. I mean, the speed of technical progress in data science is just incredible. But our ethical thinking, it has to keep up.
Otherwise,
we risk building these amazing tools that, despite all their potential, could actually end up causing harm or undermining basic values like fairness and justice.
So the challenge is wielding that power responsibly.
Responsibly and equitably. That's the core of it.
Okay, let's talk scale. Because the reach of data science, it's genuinely mind-boggling now. Organizations are using these enormous data sets for, well, decision-making on a scale we've just never seen before.
We mentioned personalized medicine, using patient data, genomics, to really tailor treatments. That's huge.
Oh, and then there's the everyday stuff, like targeted advertising that feels like it's reading your mind sometimes.
Data-driven algorithms are really the silent engines behind so much of modern life.
And that scale, that ubiquity, that's exactly where the ethical alarm bells start ringing, right?
Absolutely. As we hand over more and more critical choices, hiring, medical diagnosis, you name it, to algorithms, things like transparency and accountability, they stop being abstract ideas.
They become urgent needs.
Exactly. We bump up against these black box models again, where figuring out how a decision was made is incredibly tough. Auditing them is hard. Explaining them is hard.
And that lack of visibility, that's where public trust starts to erode, isn't it?
It really is. It's not just theory.
Right. So this isn't just, a philosophical debate for researchers. These concerns directly hit public confidence in the systems that shape our lives. There's this really clear, pressing need, I think, for data scientists, for organizations using AI, to embed ethics, privacy, bias, transparency, fairness right from the very beginning, not just tack it on at the end.
Yes. It has to be proactive. Building safeguards against misuse, against discrimination, it needs to happen as we push the boundaries, not after something goes wrong.
Like an ethical compass guiding development.
An ethical compass at every single step. That's spot on. What's fascinating here is that without that compass, even the most brilliant AI might not get adopted long-term. Trust, or the lack of it, is becoming this huge factor, maybe even more than technical limits sometimes.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about data privacy, because that feels like one of the most urgent ethical battlegrounds right now.
Definitely up there.
Our personal information, it's become this incredibly valuable resource, hasn't it? But at the same time, it's a huge potential liability. You see headlines constantly, massive data breaches, new surveillance tech popping up.
It's nonstop.
So protecting our data, it's clearly more than just a legal thing now. It feels like a moral issue, touching on trust, on, our autonomy as individuals.
And that's where you hit the core ethical problems. Things like the lack of truly informed consent and the erosion of trust. Just think about it for a second. Okay. Most people have, frankly, no real idea how much data is being collected about them, from apps, websites, smart speakers, even public records.
It's just happening constantly in the background.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And that creates this massive imbalance of power. This huge pile of data, if it's misused, can lead to anything from identity theft to, subtle manipulation.
Like selling detailed profiles to third parties, influencing behavior without real consent.
Precisely. Without you even knowing it's happening, potentially.
It does sound a bit like the digital Wild West sometimes. Thankfully, policymakers are trying to catch up. We've seen big regulations like GDPR in Europe.
The General Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah, and California's CCPA. The idea behind those is to bring some order, right? Mandate clear consent, give people rights over their data, access it, delete it, and put real penalties on misuse.
And those legal frameworks are absolutely necessary. They set a baseline. But truly ethical data use, it has to go much further than just ticking legal boxes.
You need a different culture.
You need a privacy by design culture, where respecting user data is just baked into everything right from the start of a project. And what's fascinating now is how generative AI is throwing a whole new spanner in the works.
How so?
Well, these models are trained on colossal data sets scraped from the internet. Often, that includes personal information from social media, blogs, maybe even data that was leaked somewhere.
All without people knowing or agreeing.
Often, yes, without any specific knowledge or explicit consent for that use.
Wow. And we're seeing fallout from that already.
We are. Remember back in 2023, Italy's data protection agency temporarily banned ChatGPT?
I do, yeah.
Their reasoning was basically no legal basis for collecting and processing all that personal data just to train the algorithms. It raises a huge question. Do you own how your public posts are used for AI training?
And there was that lawsuit from authors against OpenAI too, wasn't there?
Yes, alleging their copyrighted books were just ingested unlawfully to train the model. They argued OpenAI was profiting from, quote, stolen writing and ideas.
Because the AI could summarize their books in detail.
Exactly. These examples just hammer home these really tricky questions about ownership and consent now. When an AI learns from millions of images or texts, how do you protect intellectual property? How do you stop sensitive personal details hidden in that data from being misused?
So data privacy isn't just about hackers getting in anymore.
Not at all. It's about maintaining individual control, individual dignity, really, in how our digital selves are used. Ethical data science needs strong security, sure, but also things like data minimization, only take what you need.
Anonymization.
Anonymization where possible, absolutely. And just fundamentally respectful use, especially with generative AI's, frankly, enormous appetite for data.
Okay, let's pick it to another really critical challenge, bias in algorithms. This one can be subtle, but so powerful.
Insidious, almost.
Yeah, because if the data you feed an AI is biased to begin with, or if the model learns from, say, historical inequality without any checks,
Then the outputs will reflect that bias. Often they'll even amplify it.
and the danger is it happens at scale, right? And it can look so objective, so mathematical.
Precisely. And this isn't just theoretical risk. We've seen profoundly discriminatory outcomes. In hiring, for instance, AI resume screeners have sometimes systematically favored men. Why? Because they learned from past hiring data that already had that bias built in.
What about other areas?
Banking,
Yeah.
credit scoring algorithms, loan approvals sometimes showing racial biases, putting minority applicants at a disadvantage. And maybe one of the most alarming examples is from criminal justice.
The Compass algorithm.
Exactly, Compass. It was found to be twice as likely to wrongly flag black defendants as high risk for re-offending compared to white defendants.
Wow. These are literally life-changing decisions.
Yeah.
Who gets a job, who gets a home loan, maybe even how long someone spends in prison. And when you hand that over to a biased AI, it really can act like a turbocharger for discrimination. And it hides it behind this seemingly neutral algorithmic process.
That's a great way to put it, a turbocharger.
But for listeners thinking, okay, maybe that was just one bad algorithm or it's easy to fix, what makes tackling this bias so difficult? Especially when the data just reflects society's own historical problems.
That's the crux of it, isn't it? It's tough because the impact is so wide and deep. Marginalized groups nearly always bear the brunt. Think about healthcare. A biased algorithm might underestimate how sick black patients are because they were underrepresented in the training data. That leads to unequal care.
Or facial recognition.
Facial recognition systems notoriously have higher error rates for darker-skinned individuals and for women. That's led to wrongful arrests. It's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. IBM experts have pointed out, biased algorithmic decisions reinforce existing societal disparities.
And the stubborn challenge.
Well, simply feeding it more data doesn't automatically fix it if that data also reflects historical bias. Sometimes it just entrenches the bias further. And even just identifying and measuring these biases accurately is really, really complex.
So given that complexity, what are people actually doing about it? What are the effective strategies?
Well, thankfully, awareness is way up. So we are seeing concrete efforts. Things like consciously building diverse, truly representative data sets, actively trying not to just rely on historical data that we know is flawed.
Audits.
Yes, regular bias audits are becoming crucial. Testing how algorithms perform across different groups. If you find disparities, you might need to retrain the model or apply specific techniques to adjust the outcomes.
And transparency helps.
Hugely. Opening up the black box using what's called explainable AI.
Right.
Basically, tools that help us understand why an algorithm decided what it did, not just what it decided. That lets us scrutinize and challenge those decisions.
And the data scientists themselves.
They have a massive role.
Mhm.
Critically thinking about how data is collected in the first place. Making sure development teams are diverse, bringing different perspectives. It has to be proactive.
And inevitably, this bias issue comes roaring back with generative AI, doesn't it? Models like GPT-4, DLE, they learn from the whole internet.
Which is full of societal bias, of course. So yes, they can absolutely generate biased or harmful content because they're just mirroring what they've learned. Remember Meta's Galactica model?
Vaguely. The one for researchers.
That's the one. Pulled after just 3 days. Why? It was confidently spitting out misinformation, biased outputs, even racist stuff sometimes.
Oof. A stark reminder.
Definitely. It shows even the most advanced AI could just become a conduit for existing societal problems.
So generative AI could actually make bias worse, spread it faster.
That's the fear. If it's unchecked, it could amplify biases and spread them incredibly quickly and widely. As one AI researcher said starkly, if you are a human, you should care about this stuff causing real harm.
The bottom line being,
Fairness isn't optional. It's not a nice to have. It's an absolute necessity if we want AI to actually help create a more equitable world, not undermine it.
okay, let's take a specific technology as a kind of litmus test for these ethical principles. Facial recognition, especially its use in surveillance and law enforcement. There are benefits, sure, finding missing people, security checks,
Definitely some potential upside.
But the red flags are pretty big too, aren't they? Often pitting security against civil liberties.
They are significant. The main concerns really focus on misidentification. Innocent people being wrongly flagged, and disproportionately people of color.
You mentioned the error rates earlier.
Yeah, that NIST study, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, found error rates up to 100 times higher for Black and Asian faces compared to white faces in some leading algorithms. That technical bias has directly led to wrongful arrests.
Which is terrifying.
It is. And beyond the bias issue, civil liberties groups raise alarms about mass surveillance. If facial recognition becomes ubiquitous, could it lead to constant tracking without consent? Could it chill free speech, protest, basic privacy?
Which is why we've seen places like San Francisco actually ban government use of it.
Right, back in 2019. And the EU is looking at potentially banning real-time biometric ID in public spaces for law enforcement under their upcoming AI Act. These aren't small tweaks. They're major policy interventions.
So what does this tell us about the responsibilities of the people building this tech, the data scientists, the AI developers?
It tells us they're not just writing code in a vacuum. Their creations have real-world impact, serious impact. So they have a duty, an ethical duty, to think ahead, anticipate the risks, the unintended consequences.
And try to mitigate them.
Yes, and sometimes that might even mean saying no, deciding not to build something if the potential for harm just seems too great, if the risks really outweigh the benefits.
Are there codes of conduct for this?
There are. Professional bodies like the ACM, Association for Computing Machinery, or the IEE have codes of ethics. They emphasize principles like do no harm, fairness, accountability. That translates into practical things like keeping humans in the loop for really high-stakes decisions.
Or documenting everything properly.
Thorough documentation, absolutely.
Yeah.
How was the model trained? What data was used? So it can actually be audited later if needed. Accountability is key.
And it's not like the job is done once the system is launched, right?
Not at all. That's a great point. It needs ongoing monitoring, like a doctor checking on a patient after prescribing treatment. If the AI starts having unexpected negative effects in the real world, you need to be able to step in and adjust.
Are there frameworks to help guide this?
Yes, thankfully. Various data ethics frameworks are emerging. The U.S. government has one, the U.K. has one. International groups like the OECD, the EU, UNESCO, they've all published guidelines. They basically provide roadmaps.
Asking key questions along the way.
Exactly. Questions like, are we being transparent? How we seriously look for bias? Who is accountable if things go wrong? How can people seek redress?
It sounds like this definitely can't be done by data scientists alone in a room.
Oh, absolutely not. It has to be a team sport. You need collaboration with ethicists, with lawyers, definitely with the public. Especially if you're deploying AI in community settings like for social services, you need those diverse voices.
Like the World Economic Forum's AI Governance Alliance, bringing different stakeholders together.
Precisely. Inclusive governance is vital. It helps ensure that the AI we build reflects broader human values, not just narrow technical or commercial goals. Getting different perspectives is crucial.
Which raises another important question. What about generative AI again? We talked bias, but what about things like deepfakes?
Ah, yes, the really unsettling side of generative AI.
The ability to create hyper-realistic fake images, videos, audio, making it seem like someone said or did something they absolutely never did. The potential for misuse there feels enormous. Fake news videos swaying elections, non-consensual fake pornography used for harassment.
Right.
It's disturbing.
It truly is. The danger is that as deepfakes get better and harder to detect, they could seriously erode trust. Trust in media, trust in institutions, maybe even trust in our own interactions.
A post-truth environment.
That's the fear. If you can't believe what you see or hear online, where does that leave us? We've already seen fake audio being used in sophisticated scams.
So the people building these powerful generative tools have a huge responsibility too.
Immense. Building them with safety baked in from the start is critical. That means things like filters to catch harmful outputs, guardrails to limit misuse, and being transparent about what the AI can and cannot do. The Cloud Security Alliance put it well, responsible development is crucial to ensuring that these technologies benefit society rather than causing damage.
So navigating this whole ethical landscape in data science, it's clearly not a simple checklist you tick off once.
No, not at all. It's an ongoing journey.
Because the tech keeps changing so fast, and public attitudes evolve too.
Exactly. New ethical questions pop up all the time. It requires constant reflection, constant dialogue. It's definitely a moving target.
So internally, within organizations, what does that look like?
It means fostering a culture that asks the fundamental question, should we do this? Not just, can we do this?
Yeah.
At every single stage.
How do you encourage that?
Things like regular ethics reviews of projects, maybe even red team exercises.
What's that?
It's where you have a dedicated team try to intentionally break the system, ethically find its blind spots, figure out how it could be misused, probe its vulnerabilities before it goes live. It can surface issues you wouldn't otherwise see.
And encouraging open discussion.
Absolutely. Open dialogue and what you might call moral agility, the ability to adapt your ethical thinking as the landscape shifts. Nobody has all the answers up front.
And education must be key here too.
Massive. Data ethics needs to be a core part of training for new data scientists, teaching them about privacy law, human rights, sampling bias, the societal impacts. It can't be an elective.
And for people already working in the field.
Ongoing professional development.
Yeah.
Staying up to date on new regulations, new techniques for building fairer algorithms, it's non-negotiable, really.
But it's not just the techies who need this literacy, right?
No, definitely not. Managers, executives, policymakers, everyone involved in deploying these systems needs to understand the ethical dimensions. We're seeing big companies like Google and Microsoft setting up internal AI ethics committees. It signals a shift, maybe from that old move fast and break things mantra, towards something more like move thoughtfully and build things responsibly.
So looking ahead now, AI is likely to become even more autonomous. We'll have even more data flooding in from the Internet of Things, 5G. AI will push deeper into domains we think of as uniquely human.
Creativity, complex reasoning, maybe even emotional interaction.
Yeah. So here's where it gets really interesting, perhaps a bit scary too. How do we ensure ethics stays absolutely central to all of that? How do we make sure humanity benefits rather than becoming, I don't know, managed by these systems?
It's the critical question for the next decade, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the core message is that ethical data science isn't just the right thing to do morally, it's also a practical necessity.
How so?
Because organizations that proactively tackle privacy, bias, transparency, accountability, they build trust. They avoid public backlash, regulatory fines, reputational damage, and leadership has to come from the data scientists themselves.
Because they understand the tech best.
They understand its capabilities, its limits, its potential pitfalls better than anyone. They can champion designing for explainability, for fairness, making it the default. They can contribute to open source tools that help everyone build more ethical AI. Ultimately, it's about making conscious choices to design a future where technology truly serves humanity.
What an incredible journey we've taken today. It's clear data-driven tech offers these amazing opportunities, curing diseases, making life more convenient. The potential is just huge.
Undeniable potential. But, as we've discussed, those opportunities come bundled with risks. Risks we absolutely ignore at our peril. It boils down to being vigilant about privacy.
Combating bias relentlessly.
Insisting on transparency.
And demanding accountability every step of the way.
It's about designing proactively, not just reacting when things go wrong.
So the ultimate goal is clear, isn't it? A future where tech progress and human well-being advance together hand in hand.
Exactly. And getting there, it won't just take innovation in code. It requires real innovation in ethics too. It's a dynamic challenge, constantly evolving.
One we have to embrace.
And that means data scientists stepping up as ethical champions, using their skills to ensure AI empowers us rather than harms us. Their choices today genuinely shape what tomorrow looks like.
Yeah. So let's leave our listeners with this to think about. As we keep building ever more intelligent machines, are we in danger of losing sight of core human values? And maybe more importantly, what choices can you listening right now make to help shape that relationship between humans and AI for the better in the years ahead?
You've just watched an episode of Deep Dive, our AI-powered podcast where two AIs explore the frontiers of finance, economics, and machine learning. If you found insight here, share it. If it helped you think sharper, like it. And if you want more deep technical conversations, subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next drop. It's a podcast on how to apply AI and ML in finance and economics by two AIs, supervised by a senior portfolio manager from top-tier asset managers. Stick around. The future of investing is already speaking. Liked how that paper got decoded? We've spent 20+ years turning machine learning and AI into real-world tools, not just slide decks. Whether you want to implement a model, validate research, or build something from scratch, we can help. Explore our showcases to see it in action. Visit our site or contact us directly. Let's turn complex ideas into working intelligence together.